Cedar Fair recently revealed their future investment strategy on their latest earnings call, and with that, we should be able to figure out every roller coaster addition the chain will make in the next couple of years. Cedar Fair's plan for future coaster additions is to invest in about 2 new coasters across the chain each year. The 5 larger parks, which they named as Cedar Point, Kings Island, Carowinds, Canada's Wonderland, and Knott's Berry Farm, will all get a major coaster upwards of $25 million every 5 or so years. That means each year Cedar Fair will be investing in one major attraction for one of their 5 major parks. The chain will also open one additional coaster each year, which will go to either of their other parks like King's Dominion, Dorney Park, VALLEYFAIR, Worlds of Fun, or Michigan's Adventure, or one of the 5 big parks will get an early addition. Over the next couple of years of Cedar Fair following this strategy, the larger parks should get new coasters on average every 4 to 5 years, with the mid-tier parks getting a new coaster every 4 to 7 years. The smaller parks may see little to no investment. Cedar Fair plans to spend upwards of $25 million on the major coasters for their big parks, and I'd guess around $15 to $20 million for the coasters at the mid-tier parks. With all that out of the way, let's head straight into 2024. 2024 is a strange year. We already know Cedar Point is getting their reimagined Top Thrill Dragster, and Dorney Park is getting their new coaster, which looks to be a B&M dive coaster. It very well could be that the chain adds another coaster in 2024, but I think they're going to be spending a ton of money on Top Thrill Dragster and won't add any other coasters besides Cedar Point's and Dorney's in 2024. 2025 will be a tough year to predict. Knott's Berry Farm would be 7 years without a coaster, and Carowinds and Canada's Wonderland will be 6 years without a new coaster. That's why I think there's a small chance Knott's gets their coaster in 2024, but if not, then I predict Knott's will open some sort of B&M Hyper or Giga in 2025. As for the other parks that gets a new coaster, I think Cedar Fair will go out of character and give another major park a massive coaster. I'm thinking Carowinds will finally get their new addition, and as for what it could be, I think everything is really on the table. An RMC conversion of a hurler would be great, and in 2025 a T-Rex would probably even be a realistic option. Maybe they could even go for a Vekoma tilt coaster. 2026 would be well past due for Canada's Wonderland, and I think they'd finally get their newest coaster. A massive $25 million launched B&M Wing coaster could do wonders for this park, and I think it'll be their next coaster. As for the other coaster I think the chain will open, I'm guessing we finally see King's Dominion open their volcano replacement. I'm not too sure what they could get, but there are a ton of great options for King's Dominion's next coaster. 2027 I think will be Kings Island's time to shine. It'll have been way too long since Orion by then, and I think their 2027 coaster will be one of 2 things. I think Kings Island will open a brand new coaster from Mack Rides, but I think it could be one of 2 things. The first Mack coaster I think Kings Island could get is the Extreme Spinner. They could make it one of the best coasters in the world, and it would finally give Kings Island a new thrilling, unique coaster that's not a B&M. The reason why I think Kings Island may not go this route for the next coaster is because Cedar Fair might want to save the Mack Extreme Spinner for Cedar Point. In that case, I think Kings Island would open a Copperhead Strike style launch coaster from Mack Rides, which would be yet another great coaster at the park. Kings Island is in desperate need for a clear standout attraction, and I think RMC could very well build them a masterpiece. But who knows what the chain's relationship with RMC will be 3 years from now. I would love to see a record-breaking RMC ground up hyper hybrid at Kings Island though. It would be long enough after Steel Vengeance to take its record and build a better coaster. So I honestly hope this happens. 2028 is the year I think Cedar Point will finally get a new original coaster. It will have been 4 years since the reimagining of Top Thrill Dragster, and even if that came with a layout extension, the park will still be due for a brand new coaster. I think Cedar Point could open a brand new Mack Extreme Spinner for 2028, and it could definitely become the best coaster in the world. Let them take every record they can and build this coaster into a true masterpiece. Some people already call the two Mack Extreme Sprinters we got so far the best coasters in the world. So imagine how successful Cedar Point's version of this model would be. I honestly can't dream of any better coaster for Cedar Point to add, besides a massive 500-foot T-Rex, of course. 2028 would also be VALLEYFAIR's time to shine, and I think they'd finally open a brand new B&M invert. The B&M invert model has succeeded time and time again without fail, and is a great inversion machine the park desperately lacks. I think VALLEYFAIR's new B&M invert will be a great addition and would become one of the best inverts to ever exist. 2029 I think would be Worlds of Fun's chance to get another coaster. I really don't know what they could get, and it would be silly for me to make a prediction so far in advance. I think 2029 will also restart the cycle back with Knott's Berry Farm getting a new coaster. That would end the cycle of every park getting at least one new coaster over the next 5 years, besides, of course, California's Great America and Michigan's Adventure. I don't think the chain will be investing much into either of these parks anytime soon. Michigan's Adventure is more likely to get a new investment, but after California's Great America's sale last year, I can't see the chain giving them something new just to tear it out a couple of years later. I think the next decade of the Cedar Fair chain will be a great one, and it will be interesting to see how Cedar Fair continues to develop their parks. Will the chain at some point begin to shift more focus to the lower tier parks, or will they remain heavily focused on the larger ones? Will parks like King's Dominion and Dorney Park move up to a higher tier, or will they remain where they are? The future for Cedar Fair is truly going to be interesting, but will it be as interesting as the new 2024 Coaster Edition Six Flags is about to announce? Click here to watch my video on the new 2024 Insane Editions coming to your favorite Six Flags park soon.